In part A, we'll factor 6a minus 4a squared minus 2a cubed. Before starting, check for common factors. The trinomial has 2a as a common factor. Let's bring down the trinomial so we can factor it. 6a breaks up to 3 and 2a. Minus 4a squared is the same as minus 2a times 2a. Minus 2a cubed is the same as minus 2a times a squared. Factor out 2a. This gives 2a times 3 minus 2a minus a squared. Now reorder the terms so the term with a squared comes first. We need to factor out a negative. Do this by pulling out the negative and changing the sign of all terms within the brackets. This gives us minus 2a times a squared plus 2a minus 3. Now we'll factor the trinomial. We don't need minus 2a for the following steps, so let's place it in holding while we continue our work. In step 1, we'll get two numbers with a product of AC and a sum of B. The product of A and C is minus 3. B is 2. The first two numbers we'll try are minus 3 and 1. They have a sum of minus 2. These numbers don't work. Let's swap the signs of the two numbers and try again. Now we'll try 3 and minus 1. These numbers have a sum of 2. Three and minus 1 work since their product is minus 3 and their sum is 2. Let's store the numbers in a sentence so we can retrieve them later. We can use the shortcut since the x squared coefficient is 1. Copy 3 and minus 1 into the brackets. Bring back minus 2a to get the final answer. Now let's factor this using decomposition. In step 2, we'll split the middle coefficient. Two is the same as 3 minus 1. Three times a is 3a. Minus 1 times a is minus a. The four-term polynomial is a squared plus 3a minus a minus 3. In step 3, we'll factor the first two terms, then the last two. A squared is a times a. 3a is 3 times a. Factor out a to get a times a plus 3. Minus 1a is the same as minus 1 times a. Minus 3 is the same as minus 1 times 3. Factor out minus 1 to get minus 1 times a plus 3. In step 4, we'll factor out the common binomial. A plus 3 is common to both terms, so factor it out. Now collect what's remaining in a set of brackets. Don't forget about the minus 2a we have in holding. The factors are minus 2a, a plus 3, and a minus 1. In part B, we'll factor x squared y squared minus 5xy plus 6. Before starting, check for common factors. There are no common factors in this trinomial. In step 1, we'll get two numbers of the product of AC and a sum of B. The product of A and C is 6. B is minus 5. The first numbers we'll try are 3 and 2. They have a sum of 5. These numbers don't work, since a sum must be minus 5, not 5. Now try minus 3 and minus 2. The sum is minus 5. The numbers work since we have a product of 6 and a sum of minus 5. Let's store the numbers in a sentence so we can retrieve them later. The coefficient of x squared y squared is 1, so we can use the shortcut. Copy minus 3 and minus 2 into the brackets. The factors are xy minus 3 and xy minus 2. Now let's factor this using decomposition. In step 2, we'll split the middle coefficient. Minus 5 is the same as minus 3 minus 2. Minus 3 times xy is minus 3xy. Minus 2 times xy is minus 2xy. The four-term polynomial is x squared y squared minus 3xy minus 2xy plus 6. In step 3, we'll factor the first two terms, then the last two. X squared y squared factors to xy times xy. Minus 3xy is minus 3 times xy. Factor out xy. This gives us xy times xy minus 3. Minus 2xy is minus 2 times xy. Six is 2 times 3. Rewrite the plus as a double negative so we have minus 2 in the last term. Factor out minus 2, giving us minus 2 times xy minus 3. In step 4, we'll factor out the common binomial. Xy minus 3 is common to both terms, so factor it out. Collect the rest in a set of brackets. The factors are xy minus 3 and xy minus 2.